The next step after segregation is collection. There must be a temporary storage area within the hospital premises and designated as a central waste collection room with color coding. During collection, stickers should be stuck on the bags with all details before sending to the temporary storage area. Waste segregated are collected by housekeeping attendants and need to be stored in temporary storage area. They should be transported in covered trolleys or carts and stored till the waste is picked up and transported for treatment and disposal at the common biomedical waste treatment facility. Untreated waste shall not be stored beyond a period of 48 hours. Bags should be sealed or labeled from the source of generation with details of date of production, place of production and what type of waste category with a signature of the person who is in charge of the ward. So in this picture you can see the correct and wrong way of transportation. On the left hand side you can see the person, the healthcare provider, is not wearing any personal protective clothing. It's an overloaded trolley and there is spillage of excessive waste. So the ideal way should be to wear personal protective clothing and have a closed trolley so that there is no spillage. Carts and recyclable containers that are used repeatedly for transport should be disinfected after each and every use. Now let's see what happens to the biomedical waste beyond the healthcare facility. So the next step would be transportation to the common biomedical waste treatment facility, treatment and final disposal. Biomedical waste management rules talks about two individuals. One is an occupier, another one is an operator. The occupier by definition is a person having administrative control over the institution and the premises generating biomedical waste, such as a small clinic to a secondary care hospital or a tertiary care hospital or a research lab or an animal lab. The operator in turn is a person who owns or controls a common biomedical waste treatment facility for the collection, reception, storage, transport, treatment and disposal or any other form of handling of the biomedical waste. Let's now see the duties of the occupier of the healthcare facility. So they are in charge for proper handling, proper segregation at source in colored bags, provide safe, ventilated and secure temporary storage in a temporary storage area, pre-treat the laboratory waste and not to give the treated biomedical waste to the municipality, train all the healthcare providers on biomedical waste management, immunization of all healthcare workers and conduct periodical health checkups, maintain records of the biomedical waste generated, inform the pollution control board in case of the biomedical waste is not lifted in scheduled time by the operator, submission of annual report and phase out of chlorinated plastic bags and establish a barcode system for bags and containers if possible, and then have a regular monitoring committee for biomedical waste management and infection control in the hospital premises. Let's now see the duties of the operator of common biomedical waste treatment facility. They need to collect the waste in proper time, transport, handle, store, treatment and dispose of the waste as per the guidelines. They need to have a barcoding and GPS for handling the biomedical waste. They need to inform the pollution control board regarding the occupiers who are not handing over the segregated biomedical waste. They also need to train their workers on proper disposal of biomedical waste. They must assess the healthcare facilities in training conducted on biomedical waste management. The operator needs to conduct periodical medical examination and immunization of all its workers. They need to ensure occupational safety of all their workers and report any major accidents. In addition to the above mentioned, they also need to allow the occupier to see whether the treatment is carried out as per the rules. They need to display the details of the authorization, treatment and annual report on their own website. The recyclables from the treated biomedical waste can be given to recyclers who are having valid consent or authorization. They also need to supply non-chlorinated plastic bags to the occupier on a chargeable basis if required, and upgrade the existing incinerators to meet the emission standards. Finally, they have to submit the annual report. What are the safety precautions for biomedical waste management? There should be appropriate training and education of all healthcare providers and waste handlers. There should be strict protocols on sharp handling, disposal. There should be written protocols or colorful posters as reminders on biomedical waste segregation and disposal for all healthcare staff. There should be limited access to only trained persons with personal protective gear, and they should eliminate steps that require unnecessary handling of hazardous waste. What are the personal protective equipment which need to be used by healthcare providers? It ranges from helmets with or without visors, face masks, eye protectors like safety goggles, gowns, leg protectors or industrial boots, disposable gloves for medical staff or heavy duty gloves for waste workers. In addition, all healthcare providers need to be immunized for tetanus and hepatitis B. Now let's see the steps involved in spill management and post-exposure prophylaxis. Spillage of blood and blood products is an occupational hazard for healthcare workers. Immediately clean the spill as per the standard precautions. After a spill, place absorbent sheet or gauze over the spill, pour 1% sodium hypochlorite solution and let it stand for a minimum contact time of 30 minutes before wiping it with a gloved hand. Remember to remove broken glass or sharps with a dustpan to avoid sharp injury. Please adhere to the NACO guidelines for post-exposure prophylaxis after a needle stick injury and communicate to the staff in charge. Report the incident and maintain a record. Now let's see the annual report to be submitted by the occupier and operator. So every occupier or operator shall submit the annual report to the prescribed authority by 31st of January every year. They need to mention the categories, quantity of biomedical waste handled during the preceding year. The prescribed authority then shall send this information to Central Pollution Control Board by 31st of March every year. The CPCB then sells this information to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change by 30th of June every year. As healthcare providers, let's pledge for an excellent biomedical waste management at our facility. Thank you.